It's just so awesome to see women owning their roles, owning their ability to lead teams. What is your biggest motivation for leading people successfully?
Thank you. I think that's such a profound question. For me, it's more about one, making a difference, and two, it's about giving back. So let me expand on that. Um, you know, we go through our journey, in our careers, and we really never know where it will take us to. Yes, we do have a goal. We know what we want, but along the way, you get people that help you on that journey. And those helpers may accelerate your growth, but they actually throw you in a space where it forces you to do things that are uncomfortable, right? Things that, because that's where the learning and the growing happens, right? So the perfect example is if you do more of the stuff that you are comfortable with, you don't grow, you don't move to the next level. So a practical example, you join an organization, you're an HR consultant, and you continue, as part of being an HR consultant, you have to sit in this meeting, you have to do this HR process and that HR process. And that's really where it ends. And you continue to do more of that you know. And then the question is, what is it going to take for you now to do the next thing? And really the simple answer is you need to do now the things that make you uncomfortable in order for you to move to the next level. So if you've never been exposed to sit in a leadership meeting and present an abstract HR concept, then you need to do more of that. If you're an HR leader and you're always in the background and you want to be in the forefront, but you've got a fear of public speaking, like I was maybe 6 years ago, you need to now do things and actually spend time with people that have actually done those type of things. And actually be intentional about it and say, okay, if I've got a phobia of public speaking as an HR professional that I can stand here and share my journey, then maybe I need to take public speaking classes. Maybe I need to join Toastmasters, or maybe I need to do one thing or another that is going to take me out of my comfort zone in order for me to move to the next level. Because if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, I think what's really powerful, sorry to interject, what you're
Yeah.
saying now, it's about being intentional.
Yeah.
And it's about this thread of what's coming through, the theme that's coming through with this in Xaba. It's about us identifying who it is I want to be, us
Yeah.
identifying what is my objective,
Yeah.
what can I do to improve.
Yes.
But I think what you said was quite interesting, and I'd like to touch on that a little bit. You mentioned being put in situations where we're uncomfortable. Now, if I want to stay in my safe space, you're telling me now I must do something to challenge my status quo. How do I even get to that in terms of my mindset?
That's a very good question. It starts with self-awareness, right? So it's recognizing that, okay, I need to do 1, 2, 3, but I don't know how, right? Because if you can own it up and say that actually I don't know how to do this thing. Don't try and outsmart people. Don't put up a facade and look like you are a subject matter expert when you are not, because people will catch you out. So once you realize that actually I don't know how to do something, then go and look for people that have done that exact thing and actually say to them, can you teach me how to do 1, 2, 3? Can you mentor me how to do 1, 2, 3? Don't wait for opportunities to land on your lap. Be intentional. Again, I'll say this. Go and seek those opportunities. Because then when you're looking for something, the chances are you'll find it. So you will find a person that will say to you, okay, I'm willing to listen to your story. What is it that you want to do? Okay, for you to do 1, 2, 3, but you have to work hard. You need to do 1, 2, 3. You need to put yourself in this space. So you go and do that. They hold you accountable as your mentor, but you also hold yourself accountable, because if you don't do that thing, you won't move to the next level. So recognize that, find the person who will help you, and then hold yourself accountable to actually do the thing that you want to do.
You use the word facade, and this is something I want to maybe touch on with regards to a lot of business professionals.
Yeah.
If you think we're spending 80% of our time at work, we arrive in the office, we have our suit, we have our ensemble put together, and
Yeah.
we project this this professional persona.
Yeah.
We're not likable, we don't connect. How important is it for you for us to be authentic? How important is it for your teams to be real and not to pretend that they are somebody that they're not, especially if they don't have the skill set, so they try and hide behind this business facade that they are projecting.
Yeah. The danger in that, if you pretend to know something, actually nothing happens. Nothing absolutely happens because you haven't got a clue how to even begin to execute whatever it is that you want to execute, and people will actually call you out on it. So authenticity, especially authentic leadership, is very key in this day and age, right? Because that talks to your values, who you are as an individual. If you hold yourself in high regard and you say, I'm a person of integrity, that needs to be demonstrated in your actions.
Sure.
Right, so you can't preach one thing and then do something the opposite, right? So as an HR leader, that talks to recognizing that you don't know everything, and that's okay.
Wow, and then I'm going, wow, because
Yeah.
not many leaders will say,
Yes.
what, I'm not perfect, I have weaknesses.
Yes,
That's,
but
that's,
then what will make you successful
amazing.
is empower your team, surround yourself with a team of people that are very competent, that are knowledgeable, but then you let them be, right? Don't try and control them so that everything centers around you. Recognize that I've got an HR specialist in this, I've got an HR specialist in that, and then let them thrive, because if they are successful, then you, as the leader, automatically you become successful. So that's, for me, that's part of being authentic. Standing here, do I know everything about HR? No, I don't, right? But the leadership style is, I've got a team of people that are going to do the things, that are called to complement me. Where I lack, they complement me. Where they lack, I complement them. And then in the process, we're on a learning journey together.
But ultimately, that's what a team is. I mean,
Yeah.
you're leading from the front, there's trust,
Absolutely.
there's confidence within yourself and your
Yes.
team. And I think that's ultimately what we need to recognize is we need to learn to delegate.
Absolutely.
And obviously to the benefit of everybody, and it's not about us getting the accolades all the time. What's a non-negotiable for you in your team? Like, what do you not accept as normal or culture, politics?
Really a non-negotiable for me. I know it's going to come across as if I'm being blunt, but it's very important that we, as HR people, we tell things, we speak our truth, we tell it like it is. What I don't compromise is an individual in my team who thinks that they are better than other people, right? Because for me, what that means is understand how we complement each other as a team, what your strengths are and what my strengths are, and how that talks to each other. Don't try and be superior than the next person to the next person. That's what it is.
Is superiority or pretending to be better than the other person maybe not a manifestation of their insecurity?
Absolutely, that's what it is. Because then it just tells you that you're not confident in who you are. It's also a lack of self-awareness, actually, right? Because if you really don't know who you are, and it may seem like a simple question, when I ask you, okay, who are you? Like, oh no, I'm Pamela Xaba, and what do you mean? I'm like, really, who are you? Who are you behind the title, right? So if this title were to be stripped away, what is left? And that's the answer that I'm looking for. What is it that you stand for as a person? Because then that answer really determines how you work with other people, how you lead people, your humility. I spoke earlier about humility. When you have humility, it doesn't mean that you are weak or you are always agreeable, right? It just means that you are ego-free, you are free of ego. And in that way, you can then have empathy and put yourself in another person's shoes and understand where they come from. So it's easier then for them to follow you, to hear you.
Pamela, you
Yeah.
sound quite insightful with regards to an awareness of self.
Yeah.
Is this something that you learned, that you're into? Were you born with this consciousness, this intuity? Intuity, is that a word? Intuition.
Yeah.
This intuition to be able to assess situations, or has it developed over time?
Maybe I'm psychic. I'm joking.
Could be, you could be.
No, it was developed over time. I wasn't always like this, let me be quite honest. In my earlier days in my career, I had a knack of being straightforward to a point that it bordered on being stubborn and aggressive. And I always wanted people to listen to my word and always wanted to do things my way. So what that did for me, I always clashed with people, either in my team or with people that I reported to, or my peers and my colleagues. So, and it wasn't nice, and it came to a point where at some stage I resigned
Sure.
from my job or wanted to resign, and this leader that had recruited me in that organization said, look, it's fine if you want to go, but you also need to take a very hard look at yourself. So if I were to pull out your CV now, you've been in the space of 10 years, you've been all over. So you need to answer this question, why is that? You think you are running away from this environment or from those people, but maybe you're running away from yourself.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
then it was at that point where I was confronted with myself. And when that happens, you can't run away from your own thoughts. The only thing that you can do is commit suicide, but you don't want to do that because, So you're confronted with your own thoughts. So you're actually forced to change in order for you to work with other people better, in order for you to move forward, in order for you to understand other people better. So something in me had to die for me to be where I am today, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I think you were
Yeah.
also quite receptive to the coaching in that moment. That person came to you, they identified your strength, which was there, which is
Yeah.
quite interesting for us as women. Once again, it's no gender comments. I'm not trying to create that kind of discussion.
Yeah.
But what we, as women in a corporate space, we sometimes think we need to be aggressive. We need to be forceful. We need to be loud and perhaps domineering to be heard or to be perceived as strong. And I think we all go through that journey. And I think what you said, there's this realization that I can get more bees with honey if I develop my people skills, if I learn to be more empathetic. And I think that's what you emulate. You're
Yeah.
somebody who represents that, somebody who's been through the journey, and you can now recognize those downfalls in other people. So
Absolutely.
really awesome.
It's how people work with people. I don't see any other way. Yeah.
Okay, so people, buy from each other. It's about relationships.
Yes.
It's about empathy, and I think you live those values. And I think authenticity, which is something that you spoke about earlier on, and
Yeah.
it's getting rid of these facades that we project, so that we can actually connect on a human level.
So it's okay not to know, but then it's an opportunity to learn.
To learn and
that's
grow.
where growth happens.
And that
Yeah.
actually speaks to my philosophy in life. We all
Yeah.
need to be lifelong learners. It doesn't matter how old we are.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited to know what I'll be doing when I'm 70, because incidentally, we're all going to be working when we're 70, which is awesome
Yes.
because it will give us that opportunity to keep conscious, aware, fresh,
Yes.
energetic, and you look like somebody who just motivates and inspires. So just any last words from you on how we can go and just go and motivate our teams, get people there who want to be there, and just, be great for our organizations.
Yeah. Really, it's very short. It's always speak your truth, no matter what. But your truth is how you do it. Your truth must not come from a place of arrogance. It must be just having the confidence to actually say what needs to be said. Whatever it is. You are all HR professionals. I'm sure you understand what I mean. So do not shy away from things that you should be addressing because you are scared of what the next person will say. Have the confidence to call out certain things, Because in that way, people tend to trust you because they can see that actually you're being honest in your approach, no matter what the situation. But you don't need to be forceful. So if a person doesn't listen to you, that's okay, but at least you have told them. And then whatever happens there from there, they can always say, oh no, you know what? There is a lady or there's a gentleman who told me 1, 2, 3, I should have listened. Speak your truth, that's it.
And be open to listening
Yes.
and growing.
Remain teachable. Yeah.
Okay, so wonderful last words there, Pamela. Thank you very much. We really inspired by you as a woman. It's really awesome to see you display this confidence, but also the authenticity and the empathy to connect with people on a deep level.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm really humbled. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Pamela.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Pamela.
Bye.